Hello everybody, and welcome to my Paper Mario 64 partner ranking tier list thingy. Today, we're gonna rank the partners. Two things I'd like to mention before we get into things is that I've only beaten this game once. It was recently, but it was only once. So, I'm not as good at this game or knowledgeable about this game that I am like Thousand Year Door. So, yeah, keep that in mind while I do this ranking. And the second thing is that this is purely based off of their combat capabilities, not them as characters. Also, keep in mind that this is my list, my opinion. These are my opinions on the partners that I have after doing my playthrough. So, if you disagree with it, then be sure to tell me in the comments. I'd actually like to know at least who your favorite and least favorite partners are. Oh, and why. Tell me why as well. But anyways, I'm gonna do my ranking now. So, the worst partner in the game, and I'm sure all of you can agree with me, is Lackluster. Now, I want to go over the pros first. He does offer some decent utility. Spiny Surge damages everyone on screen. In fact, all of his attack moves can damage almost any enemy. Cloud 9 is good because it gives Mario immortality for a few turns. And Hurricane is a move that exists, but a lot of characters have similar moves, where it scares away all the enemies, they run away, and then you don't get any experience. I don't like those moves. I never use them because, I don't know, they feel cheap to me. It's the same reason I don't like using Gale Force with Flurry. But in this game, there are too many moves like that. Also, another positive, and the big one with him, is when a fight is designed around him, for example, the Huff and Puff boss in World 6, yeah, he's great. Spiny Surge makes that fight actually doable. I first tried it because I used Lackluster. But the issue is that he's the last partner you get in the game, and yes, he's able to do a lot of the things, but he doesn't do a lot of the things exceptionally well. He has two attacking moves, but they're both not that great. His first one, Spiny Flip I think it's called, attacks one person, and it only does 5 damage, which that's fine, right? But then Spiny Surge only does 4 damage, and that is his only move that attacks multiple people. And like I said, he's the last partner you get, so you're gonna have way more moves that can damage everyone and that just do more damage than 4. And yeah, Cloud 9 gives Mario immortality or whatever, but there are other moves, there are other defensive moves in the game that are just better. We'll go over what they are eventually, but I don't know, Cloud 9 is probably my least favorite defensive move in the game. And then I already whined about his last move. Next up is Bombette. I'm debating whether I want to put her in D tier or C tier because, to be honest, there was like one part of the game where I actually used her consistently, and it wasn't even in the chapter I got her in. So yeah, she's going in D tier, but above Lackluster. The best thing she has going for her is damage. Her moves are all kinda samey though, and they all blend into each other. Body Slam, she just face rams the bad guy. But then there's Bomb, where she blows up one of the guys. Then there's, what comes first, Mega Bomb or Power Bomb? I don't know, her second one, which blows up all grounded enemies. And then there's a big one that blows up all the enemies. But they all do the same amount of damage. All she has going for her is damage. She has nothing else, no actual utility, unlike pretty much every other partner here. So, yeah, I don't like using her that much. The only time that I used her consistently was in Chapter 8, because the Dry Bones would only die and give me experience if I killed them with fire. And Bombette, believe it or not, explosions are fiery. So when I used them, they set the bad guys on fire, and they burned and went to hell. So that's why Bombette sucks. Anyways, next up, C tier now, is Goombario. Now listen, Goombario is kind of a guy. We like Goombario in this house, okay? which is exactly why I put him in the second worst tier. Let me explain why I did that. And especially why I put Goombella so high up in my 1000-Year Door ranking. Because I don't want to compare the two games all that much, but we're going to compare the games a bunch. So, the reason Goombario is just not as good is because of the way partners work in this game. See, in 1000-Year Door, you can apply a bunch of attack buffs to your partners. With Goombella, partner badges exist, so you can get like some Power Plus Ps and some All or Nothing Ps. Or not All or Nothing P, that doesn't exist. P up, D down P. Get Mega Rush P in there too, and then you do a big multi-bonk and it's gonna absolutely destroy the enemy. With Goombario, those badges just don't exist in this game, so yeah, his damage is just not as good. Now, you can charge him up. Charge is a move that he has, but at that point, why sit there and charge a bunch of turns when you can either A, attack with him, and just get the damage quickly, or B, just use a better partner. Now, yes, he does potentially have the highest damage in the game, but it takes way too long to actually get him to that point. And he's the only other partner that I'd argue doesn't have very much utility outside of that. Head bonk is okay. Multi-bonk is a move. That's about all I gotta say for Goombario. Alright, next up is Kooper. Now, a lot of my thoughts on him are similar to my thoughts on Koops, actually. The only reason that he's not as high up as Koops is because, again, partner badges don't exist, so he gets a tier lower. But he does have differences, because pretty much all of his moves are the same, right? Shell Toss is the exact same, Power Shell's the same, Fire Shell, or whatever the hell it's called, that's pretty much the same. Dizzy Shell, though, is actually a move that I like. It makes the enemies, surprise, surprise, dizzy. And when they're dizzy, they can't do anything, because all statuses are broken in this game. Statuses are the most overpowered thing. It literally makes it so the enemies just can't do anything for multiple turns, and you can just do whatever you want. So yeah, that's why Kooper is in B tier, because of, like, his ability to paralyze people. But other than that, I don't know. He has the same weakness as Koops, where he can't attack enemies in the air. He's okay. There were instances where I used him and got legitimate use out of him. More than one. More than Bombette. So yeah, that's about all I gotta say for him. Next up is Fish. You know what? I'm gonna be annoying and biased and put Sushi in B tier because listen. So here's the good things, because Sushi has a lot of good things, right? First of all, her attacks are buffed against fire enemies, and in the chapter you get her in, that's great. She's gonna do a ton of damage to, like, everyone there. Second, she can provide Mario a water block, and he gets defense, and it's actually a defensive move that I like. It's a good one, I got legitimate use out of it. Oh, and also, there's this dumb trick you can do with her last move, where you can just push a bunch of buttons in an order, and, like, spam them really fast, and just get, like, a bunch of damage. Get, like, up to, like, 14 or 15 damage on one enemy. It's really stupid, really broken, I've never tried it, I don't know how to do it. But yeah, she has that going for her. Now, you hear all this and be like, okay, she shouldn't be in B tier, she should be higher up, right? You're exactly correct, my friends. In fact, she's probably better than at least some of the guys I got down here. Then why do you have her in B tier? Because I don't like her, okay? She pisses me off. But Mr. Riley makes videos. You said that you're ranking them purely off their combat capabilities. I know I am, okay? Indeed I am, but Sushi pisses me off so much, and here's why. You go to a chapter, you go to Yoshi's Island. Look, there's so many little Yoshi guys. You help save all these Yoshi kids. You're talking to all of them, and instead of them giving you a Yoshi partner, they give you fish. Here's an old cranky fish. Here's a fish. Shouldn't affect my ranking, but it does, and I didn't use her as much because I don't like her very much at all. So yeah, call me petty, call me whatever. call me pathetic, call me what you will. But, yeah. That's about all I gotta say for Sushi. Although, like I said, I did use her in Chapter 5, and she was legitimately useful there. I'm not gonna, like, refuse to use her at all. But I'm also petty and annoying. But it's my list, shut up. Anyways, our A tier buddy here is, Parakarry. So, Parakarry. Let's talk about Parakarry and why I think he's actually better than Sushi, which is probably objectively false. Now, Parakarry's main attack, the one where he, like, the dive bomb or whatever, he's like, "Wah-wah-wah." That's okay. I use it sometimes. It's a move that he has. But, the Yoshi's Island shell thingy, what is that move called? The one that where you, like, shoot his shell. Shell shot. Is it Shell Shot? I'm gonna call it Shell Shot. I think that's what it's called. I really like that move. It's one of my favorite early game moves, period. You shoot the shell out, it does a ton of damage, it's satisfying to use. I love the sound design, and also the Yoshi's Island reference is awesome. Yoshi's Island is the best 2D platformer on the SNES. Fight me. Yeah, I've played the DKC games. Anyways, we're getting hella sidetracked here. Parakarrius. The one where he, like, grabs the enemy and flies away. Again, I don't like the moves like that. I don't like them very much. But, Air Raid is awesome because Parakarry goes in his shell and just kills everything in his shell. Everyone dies. It's just the everyone dies move. It's so satisfying. I like it. I love it. It's one of my favorite moves to use. So yeah, Parakarry is just really satisfying to use, really fun to use. He's awesome. Also, mail call! Alright, here we go. S tier. The first S tier partner is Lady Bow. Lady Bow. Now, first of all, I was gonna say Lady Bow is the only partner that comes back in Thousand Year Door, but then I just remembered mail call! So I know that's false. But anyways, Bow is awesome, and here's why. Now, first of all, her offensive damage moves are just satisfying as hell to use. I love hitting the left stick a bunch of times, Bow flies up to them, and then just boom, 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 just smacks them right in the face. It's so satisfying. Love doing it. Now, I know she gets walled when an enemy has defense, but, like, not a lot of enemies have defense. Like, let's be real. Also, we have our number one partner for that. So, you know, those two are interchangeable. You know, I mostly use them. But anyways, Bow. Spook. I don't like Spook. I never used it once. Now, granted, it could become one of my favorite moves. You ever heard somebody say to a little kid, they're like, the little kid's like, I don't like that food, and the parents like, oh, but you never tried it. Well, I've never tried Spook, so I don't know if I like it. What the hell is this analogy? But anyways, she does good damage. In fact, Fan Slap or Fan Smack or whatever does 10 damage. That's a lot. But then she has Out of Sight. And Out of Sight is awesome. And I mentioned it in my 1,000 Year Door video, and I was going to explain why I think it's awesome. And I'm going to do that now. But before I do that, let me clear up something I said about Veil that was absolutely wrong. And this comment right here corrected me. Thanks, Mr. Man. I said in my last video that if you use Veil, it takes away Mario's next turn and Vivian's next 2 turns, so the enemies get to attack you twice. However, if you put Vivian in front and use Veil, Mario will still get his turn. So it's not as good as it could have been, but yeah, you can still do something at least. But yeah, Veil still sucks and Vivian is still B tier. But I just wanted to clear up that little misconception. But anyways, Out of Sight is still peak, and here's why. When you use Out of Sight, it takes up Bow's next turn, but not Mario's. So Mario attacks, Bow uses Out of Sight, the enemies will attack you, and then Mario gets another turn. So it's essentially Rallywink in Paper Mario 64, except this time it's even better because of how much versatility Mario has compared to literally any of the partners. Let's say, for example, you're trying to build up to like a star storm. You know what? Not like a star storm, a goddamn star storm. But you're short just a little bit of star power and you need just that extra push. You can focus with Mario, out of sight with Bow, and then use the Star Storm and unleash hell all over the enemies. That is just one of the many uses you can get out of this move. It's so good, again, especially in this game where the partners just aren't as good as Mario. They can't even use items. So yeah, with that, and Bow being able to do 10 damage, and Bow's damage being satisfying, she gets S tier. But then, at the number 1 spot, we have the partner that I used like 85% of my adventure. What? Pretty much all of Watt's moves are great. First of all, Electro Dash pierces defense. As far as I can remember off the top of my head right now, it's the only partner move that can pierce defense. Now, it can only attack one guy, and it's Watt's only damage move, but her other moves make up for that. Watt has Turbo Charge, which gives Mario extra attack power, which is just great. Again, like I said, Mario is gonna be your powerhouse in this game, so giving him extra attack is good. Power Shock can immobilize an enemy, and like I said, any status is good, but then there's Mega Shock. Now, remember what I just said about Power Shock and how it can immobilize one enemy? Now, imagine that, but for every enemy. Now, it isn't a 100% chance, but it works consistently enough to where this move is totally broken. Especially because you're really only going to use it in fights with multiple guys, so it's at least going to freeze most of them. Now, the only real issue I have is its action command, and keep in mind that this might not be a thing on like the N64 version or whatever. I played it on the Switch, but the action command is to spam A and B at the same time, and for some reason when I use it, sometimes it just doesn't work. I don't know why, I don't know what the issue is. Maybe it's an issue relating to my skill, but either way, sometimes the action command doesn't work for me, and I get really sad, and I cry, and I go in my room for an hour, and I come back out when I feel better about my feelings. Other than that though, yeah, Watt is easily the best partner in the game. Her and Bow are pretty interchangeable though. But yeah, I have to give the edge to Watt because she can make the enemies useless, pierce their defense, and give Mario extra attack power. Now, one more thing before I go, is that I was actually originally planning to rank these guys and Thousand Year Doors partners in the same video, and I kinda wish I did, I'm gonna be honest. Because I just don't have as much to say about these guys, and this video feels shorter. But anyway, that's about it. It's about all I gotta say about Paper Mario 64's partners. Again, tell me your thoughts in the comments. Tell me why I'm a dumb idiot for putting Sushi in B tier. And actually, tell me why you think Lucky Lester is the best partner in the game, and why he's underrated and misunderstood. And with that being said, I will see you guys later. Have a good day.